Economic performance couldn't be stronger, especially in light of the deep hole that President Obama inherited. Well, that's the story you're going to hear from my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, and they've been telling it for years, but the facts clearly contradict this situation. The fact of the matter is that we are mired in the slowest recovery since at least World War II. Historically, our nation's economy has grown at a 3% clip. The Obama administration now pretends that a new normal of 2% counts as a success. Small on its face, the difference between 3 and 2% is 50%. Unfortunately, economic opportunities are now disappearing even faster, and while my friends on the other side have been crowing about this recovery for years, Republicans have been calling out for what it really is, completely unacceptable situation. But today it will be different in at least one important respect. Our colleagues on the other side of the aisle will finally join us in acknowledging that our economy is underperforming. And together, we will examine the important role that the Federal Reserve's districts play in expanding economic opportunity, a role that is unfortunately under heavy attack. This attack has been brewing beneath the surface for several years. In late July, the Democrat Party finally made their true objective clear. The party platform adopted at their convention in Philadelphia promises to increase opportunity for all. Instead, it has taken aim at the very foundation of opportunity, in my opinion, that is the governance of monetary policy and the subject of today's hearing. Democrats have constantly resisted reforms that would modernize the Federal Reserve, bringing much-needed transparency to what most Americans consider an impossibly opaque institution. While such reforms promise increased accountability, Democrats falsely claim that a better disciplined, more predictable, and clearly communicated monetary policy with Congress and the public would somehow jeopardize the Fed's independence. Reforms such as these, included in the FORM Act and the draft Financial Choice Act, would help insulate the Fed from any opportunity-killing political pressures. However, my friends on the other side of the aisle would like to double down on what Dodd-Frank started, co-opting the Federal Reserve district banks by subjecting them to the same politics that has kicked economic opportunity to the sidelines in the name of reinflating asset prices. Their platform promises to press the pedal to the metal in a drag race to printing money for the politics of those in office. They now have launched a hostile takeover of the Federal Reserve itself, and I'll note that this is a dual-edged sword that some might benefit now and will rue the day if this were to go through later. Real economic opportunity cannot return until Washington puts an end to the pretense of knowledge. We cannot promote economic opportunity for all through a monetary policy that targets assets that benefit only some. Oracles from the Eccles building have been promising to do so for a decade, but where are the results? I'm as fed up as anybody. We are fed up as anybody. Where is the promised opportunity? How could the Fed have created trillions upon trillions of dollars from thin air in the name of buying questionable assets that they have left us with not only the slowest economic recovery in our lifetimes, but increased inequality to boot? I know that a better way is available, one that reverses the increased centralization of monetary policy in Washington's politicized Board of Governors and restores the historic role of district banks as a critical source of local economic information and an institutional source of support for sound monetary policy. I believe my House-passed FORM Act and the Financial Services Committee Choice Act offer a much better way. Instead of doubling down on Dodd-Frank, these legislative solutions bring monetary policy out of the political shadows and into the sunlight of market accountability and strengthen monetary policy independence by restoring the voice of the district bank presidents on monetary policy matters while subjecting regulatory and supervisory services to congressional appropriations and oversight where they properly belong. I look forward to hearing from our witnesses today, and the chair now recognizes the ranking member of the subcommittee.